Sherrod Brown makes a point of pointing out the obvious here, which is that in the context of Georgia, you had the Secretary of State personally disenfranchising voters and shutting down voting stations in an election that became incredibly close. And Sherrod Brown, who I believe is going to be one of the many people on the Democratic side who may be throwing his hat or her hat into the contest to become president, was at the National Action Network talking about that race in Georgia.
Gun lobby. Populists don't appeal to some by pushing others down. That's why I say in America we will never give up the hallowed ground of patriotism to the extremists at our State House, Joyce, and the extremists in this White House. And we also will never give in, as Senator Cardin said, we'll never give in on voting rights. We have seen if Stacey Abrams doesn't win in Georgia, they stole it. It's clear. It's clear. And I say that publicly, it's clear. What they're trying to do in Florida, to the gubernatorial candidate and to the Senate candidate running for re-election. What they tried to do in Ohio with some success by voter purging. What they did in Georgia when they shut down rural precincts that were predominantly African Americans, where many people simply don't have transportation to get to the polls. That's what they do. They can't win elections, because there's way more of us than there are them. They can't win elections fairly. They win elections by redistricting and reapportionment, in voter suppression, in all the ways they try to scare people, particularly people of color, how they make it hard for people in college campuses, especially community college, where there are more low-income people and more people of color. We know those despicable laws are often aimed that way. And we must make sure, obviously, that every vote's counted in Georgia and Florida.
All right, there you have it. And the Democrats are going to be introducing, at least in the House, bills that would reinvigorate Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act to institute motor vehicle automatic registration, a series of voting reforms, including offering an amendment to repeal Citizens United. This, of course, will not pass the Senate, but it will put some pressure on some Republican senators to the extent that they can feel pressure from normal human beings. In other words, those who are not living in a state that is incredibly red, as it were. But Sherrod Brown's statement is also self-evident. There are, in fact, more Democratic voters than Republican voters. They are not districted in a way that provides us with the results that are reflective of that disparity. You had significantly more Democratic votes than Republican votes nationally in terms of Congress. Obviously, that ended up being a net 40 difference. But when Republicans won 65 net pickups in 2010, they did so with significantly less votes than Democrats had in this election. And same too, 94. Just the redistricting is in such a way that it mitigated the size of the Democratic wave, but 40 by any definition is a wave. That's just the reality of it.